Warren Buffett has 24 hours today. You have 24 hours today. Elon Musk has 24 hours today. You have 24 hours today. Same number, every single person on this planet. No exceptions, no upgrades, no premium plan that gives you 26. So here is the question that should be keeping you up at night. If time is perfectly equal, if the universe handed everyone the exact same daily allowance, why does one person end the year with a growing bank account, a new skill and a real sense of direction, while another person ends that same year exhausted, broke, and quietly wondering where all of it went? It is not intelligence. Studies consistently show that IQ has almost no correlation with financial outcomes after a certain baseline. It is not luck. Luck explains one good year. It does not explain a pattern. It is not even how hard you work. Some of the most financially stuck people work the hardest hours of anyone you will ever meet. The real answer is uncomfortable, and most people spend their entire careers avoiding it. It is not about how many hours you have. It is about what quietly happens to those hours before you even realize they are gone. Today we are going to name that thing. We are going to put a dollar amount on it, and we are going to show you exactly how to stop it. There are 4 forces draining your daily hours and your financial future simultaneously. By the end of this video, you will see all 4 clearly, and you will have one specific move you can make this week to start taking your time back. Let us begin. Meet Ryan. Ryan is 28. He works at a mid-sized marketing company in Atlanta. $2,800 a month after tax. He is not lazy. He is not careless. He shows up every single day, he works hard, and he genuinely believes that if he just keeps pushing, things will eventually click. But here is Ryan's Tuesday. His alarm goes off at 7:15. Before his feet even touch the floor, his phone is already in his hand. He checks his work emails. He scrolls through notifications. By the time he gets to the office at 8:45, his brain has already processed 200 pieces of information and responded to 4 messages, and he has not earned a single dollar yet. He sits down, opens his inbox, spends the first 90 minutes answering emails and jumping into a chat thread about a project that is not even his. By 10:30, he has been at his desk for nearly 2 hours and has done exactly 0 work on the one task that actually matters this week. His afternoon is worse. 3 meetings. 2 of them could have been an email. He eats lunch at his desk while reading industry news he will forget by Thursday. He leaves at 5:45 feeling completely hollow. Busy all day, accomplished almost nothing real. He gets home, opens Netflix, tells himself he will work on his career development course after 1 episode. 3 episodes later, he is half asleep on the couch. He drags himself to bed at midnight with his phone still in his hand, scrolling through content he cannot even remember 5 minutes later. Ryan does this 5 days a week, 50 weeks a year, and at the end of that year, Ryan is in almost the exact same financial position he was in 12 months ago. Same salary, same stress, same quiet frustration that his hard work is not translating into anything real. Now meet Nadia. Nadia works at the same company as Ryan. Same job title, same salary, same $2,800 a month. But Nadia's year looks completely different. The difference between Ryan and Nadia is not talent, it is not connections, it is not a side hustle or a lucky break. It is 4 things, and they all happen inside the same 24 hours Ryan has been wasting. The drift tax, the focus premium, the recovery debt, and the one that changes everything, the 10-minute vault. Here is what we are going to walk through together. The drift tax, the exact dollar amount you lose every year by reacting to your day instead of owning it. We are putting a number on it. The focus premium, what 1 hour of deep, uninterrupted work is actually worth compared to 1 hour of inbox management. The math will change how you see every hour of your working life. The recovery debt, how bad evenings compound into lost income over 12 months. We are connecting your Netflix habit directly to your bank account. And the 10-minute vault, the one nightly action that protects tomorrow's earning power completely. No theory, no motivational speech, just the math, the story, and one move. Let us go. Concept 1. The drift tax. There is a word that perfectly describes what happens to Ryan's day when he is not paying attention. Drift. Drift is not laziness. Lazy people do not show up every day. Drift is something more insidious. It is a state of being genuinely busy while making zero forward progress. It is the feeling of running hard on a treadmill. Maximum effort, zero distance covered. And drift has a price tag. Let us build Ryan's number slowly, because this is the calculation nobody has ever done for you before. Ryan earns $2,800 a month. That is $33,600 a year. Across roughly 2,000 working hours in a year, his employer is paying approximately $16.80 for every hour of Ryan's time. Now here is the question. How many of those 2,000 hours does Ryan spend doing work that actually grows his value? Work that compounds his skills, solves complex problems, and makes him genuinely harder to replace. Research on knowledge workers consistently shows that the average office employee spends less than 3 hours of an 8-hour day on genuinely productive deep work. The remaining 5 hours go to emails, meetings, interruptions, context switching, and the quiet administrative fog of corporate life. 3 hours out of 8, that is 37.5%. Apply that to Ryan's 2,000 annual working hours. He is producing real value for approximately 750 hours a year. The other 1,250 hours are drift. Now multiply those 1,250 drift hours by his employer's cost per hour of $16.80. That is $21,000 a year of Ryan's working time. Paid for, clocked in, showing up. That produces almost nothing of lasting value. That is the drift tax. But here is where it gets personal. The drift tax does not just cost Ryan's employer, it costs Ryan directly. Because those 1,250 hours of drift are hours Ryan could have spent compounding a new skill, building a reputation for solving complex problems, or laying the groundwork for a better opportunity. Every year Ryan drifts, he falls further behind the version of himself that was paying attention. Nadia works the same hours, but Nadia made one decision 18 months ago that Ryan never made. She decided that the first 90 minutes of her workday belonged to her completely. Before she opens a single email, before she checks a single message, she works on the one task that actually grows her value, not 5 tasks. 1. In 18 months of protecting those 90 minutes, Nadia has built a genuine expertise in data analytics that her employer did not teach her. She did not need extra hours. She just stopped letting her best daily hours dissolve into drift. Last month, Nadia was offered a role at $3,900 a month. She declined it because she is already interviewing for something better. Same 24 hours as Ryan. Zero drift tax. The question you have to ask yourself right now is not how hard you are working. The question is how much of your working day is drift. Because drift is not free. It has a price, and you are the one paying it. And then concept 2, the focus premium. Let us talk about a number that almost nobody in a regular salary job has ever calculated. What is 1 hour of your focused attention actually worth? Not your hourly rate, not what your employer pays you. What the output of one genuinely focused, uninterrupted hour of your best thinking is actually worth in the marketplace. This is the focus premium, and understanding it will fundamentally change how you protect your attention. There are 2 types of work happening in every office in the world right now. Shallow work and deep work. Shallow work is the stuff that fills most people's days. Emails, Slack messages, status update meetings, reformatting a spreadsheet, forwarding a document. This work is necessary, but is almost entirely replaceable. A reasonably competent person could do it. An AI tool could do most of it. The market pays the minimum required rate for shallow work because shallow work has almost no scarcity value. Deep work is different. Deep work is the focused, uninterrupted state where you solve the problem nobody else in the room can figure out. Where you write the proposal that wins the client, where you build the skill that makes you genuinely hard to replace. Deep work is scarce because the modern office environment makes it nearly impossible to achieve. Constant interruptions, open plan offices, always on messaging culture. The corporate world has accidentally engineered deep focus almost completely out of the working day. And here is the economic consequence of that. The person who can consistently produce deep work, who can close the door, eliminate the noise, and deliver complex, valuable output, commands a premium in the marketplace that shallow workers simply cannot access. Not because they are smarter, because they are rarer. Let us put a number on Ryan's situation specifically. Ryan's current role pays $2,800 a month. It is an average marketing role filled with average shallow tasks. Ryan is replaceable, and on some level he knows it, which is exactly why he has not asked for a raise in 18 months. Now imagine Ryan spent 90 minutes a day, not extra hours, just the first 90 minutes he currently wastes on reactive email, developing one genuinely valuable skill. Let us say data-driven campaign analysis. In 12 months of focused daily practice, that skill commands a salary premium of $800 to $1,200 a month in his specific field. That is $9,600 to $14,400 a year from 90 minutes a day of protected focus. That is the focus premium. It is not a side hustle. It is not a second job. It is the financial return on choosing deep work over drift for one single protected block of time per day. Now watch what happened to Nadia. Nadia did not take a course. She did not buy a program. She simply decided that her inbox could wait until 10:30 a.m. Every morning for 18 months she sat down, closed every tab except one, and worked on understanding the data behind her company's campaigns. She made mistakes. She went slowly. Some mornings she spent the full 90 minutes on one paragraph of a framework she did not fully understand yet, but she compounded. Every day she knew slightly more than the day before, and 18 months of daily compounding in one focused direction produces a result that shocks people who have been drifting for the same period. The market does not pay you for how busy you were, it pays you for how rare you became. Ryan spent those same 18 months answering emails within 4 minutes and attending every meeting he was invited to. He is excellent at shallow work, completely replaceable, still earning $2,800. The focus premium is available to every single person reading this. It does not require talent, it does not require extra hours. It requires one decision, that some portion of your daily attention is not for sale to the noise. Concept 3. The recovery debt. Here is a question most people have never honestly answered. When you finish work and sit on the couch for 3 hours watching television, are you actually recovering, or are you just pausing? This distinction is the difference between waking up tomorrow ready to focus and waking up tomorrow already behind, and it has a direct, measurable impact on your financial trajectory over 12 months. This is the recovery debt, and it is the most invisible of the 4 concepts because it happens in the hours that feel like they belong to you. Let us look at Ryan's evening specifically. Ryan gets home at 6:15. He is genuinely exhausted. His nervous system has been on high alert since 7:15 this morning. His brain has processed thousands of pieces of information, navigated office politics, sat through 2 pointless meetings, and managed the low-grade anxiety of always being one notification away from someone else's emergency. He needs to recover. That is real. That is not laziness. His biology is genuinely demanding relief. But here is what Ryan does with that demand. He opens Netflix, he opens his phone. For the next 3 hours he consumes rapid-fire digital content, algorithms designed by rooms full of the world's smartest engineers, specifically optimized to keep his eyes on the screen for as long as possible. His body is on the couch, but his nervous system is still being stimulated, processing images, emotions, opinions, advertisements at a rate that is only slightly lower than the office. At 11:30, Ryan puts down his phone and goes to bed. And here is the critical thing that happens next. He does not sleep well. His nervous system never received the signal that the day was over. His stress hormones never dropped to the baseline required for deep restorative sleep. He gets 7 hours of technically being in bed, but maybe 5 hours of genuinely restorative rest. He wakes up at 7:15 already slightly depleted, reaches for his phone before his feet touch the floor, and the cycle continues. Now let us calculate what this recovery debt actually costs Ryan over a full year. Studies on sleep deprivation and cognitive performance consistently show that operating on poor quality sleep reduces decision-making capacity, emotional regulation, and complex problem-solving ability by measurable amounts. One landmark study found that chronically sleep-deprived individuals performed as poorly on cognitive tests as people who had been awake for 24 hours straight, but critically, they did not feel as impaired as they actually were. Ryan does not feel like he is operating at reduced capacity. He just feels like he is having an average day, every day. The financial cost of that reduced capacity is not a single dramatic event, it is the raise he did not ask for, because he was too tired to prepare the case. The difficult conversation with his manager he kept avoiding because his emotional regulation was too depleted to handle conflict. Well, the side project he started 4 times and abandoned each time because his willpower was exhausted by 8 p.m. Across 12 months, that recovery debt compounds into a number that would shock Ryan if he saw it clearly. Nadia's evening looks completely different, not because she has more willpower, because she made one structural change. At 6:30 she puts her phone in a drawer in the kitchen. She does not carry it to the couch, she does not check work messages after dinner. She cooks a meal properly without a podcast in the background, and she eats it at the table. She takes a 20-minute walk most evenings. She reads for 30 minutes before bed. She is asleep by 10:30. Boring. Completely unglamorous. Zero viral content. But Nadia wakes up every morning with a cognitive battery that is genuinely charged. Her judgment is sharp. Her emotional baseline is stable. She is not starting every day in deficit. And over 18 months that daily cognitive surplus has compounded into the salary offer Ryan does not have. Recovery is not the same as numbing. Numbing pauses your stress. Recovery eliminates it. The difference shows up in your bank account within 6 months of consistently choosing one over the other. Concept 4. The 10-minute vault. Everything we have covered so far, the drift tax, the focus premium, the recovery debt, they all have one thing in common. They are all downstream of what happens in the last 10 minutes before you go to sleep. This is the 10-minute vault, and it is the concept that ties everything else together. Here is the problem with most people's mornings, including Ryan's. They are improvised. Ryan wakes up and his first 10 minutes are a series of tiny, unplanned decisions. What am I wearing? Where are my keys? What is the most important thing I need to do today? Did I reply to that email last night? What time is that meeting? Should I grab breakfast or skip it? Every single one of those micro decisions burns a small but real portion of Ryan's daily decision-making capacity. Psychologists call this decision fatigue. The human brain has a finite budget of willpower and cognitive energy available each day. Every choice you make, no matter how trivial, draws down that budget slightly. By the time Ryan sits at his desk, his decision budget is already partially spent on what socks to wear and whether to stop for coffee. He has given away a percentage of his best daily thinking to pure morning friction before he has produced a single dollar of value. Now here is the vault. The 10-minute vault is a simple nightly ritual that eliminates morning friction completely and gives tomorrow's Ryan a fully loaded decision budget to work with. It takes exactly 10 minutes, no more, no skill required, no app, no system to learn. Here is exactly what it looks like. Before you go to sleep tonight, you do 5 things. 1. You lay out tomorrow's clothes completely, every item, done. That decision no longer exists tomorrow morning. 2. You pack your bag and place it directly next to the front door. Every item you need is already inside it. That decision no longer exists tomorrow morning. 3. You set up the coffee maker so that tomorrow morning it requires pressing exactly 1 button. 4. You put your phone on its charger in a room that is not your bedroom. And 5. The most important one. You take a physical piece of paper and a pen and you write down one single sentence. The one most important thing I will do tomorrow morning before I open my email is blank. You fill in the blank. One task, not a list, one task. You fold the paper and you put it on top of your packed bag. That is it. 10 minutes every night. What this does to tomorrow is remarkable. Ryan's current morning requires approximately 23 micro decisions before he sits at his desk. Each one is a tiny tax on his cognitive budget. A Ryan who uses the 10-minute vault every night arrives at his desk having made approximately 4 decisions. Wake up, shower, get dressed, leave. Everything else was already handled the night before by a version of himself who was thinking clearly. And because that one piece of paper is sitting on top of his bag, Ryan does not walk into the office wondering what matters today. He already knows. He decided last night when his judgment was clear and unrushed. He opens his laptop and he starts on that one task before the inbox has a chance to steal his morning. Nadia has been doing the 10-minute vault every single night for 18 months. She did not start it because she read a productivity book. She started it because one evening she calculated how much mental energy she was spending on morning friction and decided the math was unacceptable. 10 minutes the night before, 90 minutes of protected focus in the morning. Every working day for 18 months. That is the architecture of a $1,100 a month salary increase. Not a lottery win, not a lucky break. 10 minutes a night and the decision to protect what comes after it. So here is your one move, the real one, not the motivational version, the specific one. Tonight, not next Monday, not when work calms down, tonight, you are going to build your first 10-minute vault. Here is exactly what you do. After dinner, before you sit down in front of any screen, you spend 10 minutes preparing tomorrow. You lay out your clothes, you pack your bag, you set up your coffee, you put your phone charger somewhere that is not your bedside table, and then you sit down with a piece of paper, not your phone, not an app, a physical piece of paper, and you write this sentence. Tomorrow morning before I open my email, I will spend 90 minutes on blank. Fill in the blank with the one task that actually moves your career or your finances forward. Not the most urgent task, the most important one. There is a difference, and you already know what it is. Then you protect those 90 minutes tomorrow morning like your financial future depends on them. Because it does. You do not check your phone first. You do not open your email first. You do not look at a single notification until those 90 minutes are done. That is the whole system. 10 minutes tonight. 90 minutes tomorrow morning. Repeated every working day. Now here is the math on what that actually produces. If those 90 minutes are genuinely focused on one skill that increases your market value and compounded over 12 months, the research on knowledge worker productivity consistently shows that 1 year of daily deliberate skill development in a specific direction produces somewhere between $6,000 and $15,000 in additional annual earning capacity depending on the field and the skill. That is not a guarantee, but it is a realistic range based on what focused compounding actually does to human capital over time. Compare that to what Ryan's 90 minutes are currently producing. Inbox management. Reactive chat threads. The quiet drift of a busy day that leads nowhere. The gap between those two outcomes is not talent. It is not hours. It is a 10-minute decision you make tonight before you go to sleep. Most people will watch this video, feel the truth of it, and then reach for their phone. The person who actually puts down the phone tonight, finds a piece of paper and writes one sentence, that person is already living differently than they were this morning. Be that person tonight. Nobody told Ryan the truth about his 24 hours. Nobody sat him down and said, the way you spend the first 90 minutes of your day is quietly determining the trajectory of your entire financial life. Nobody explained that his evenings were not recovery, they were debt. Nobody showed him that 10 minutes before bed could protect everything that came after it. Ryan is not failing because something is wrong with him. Ryan is failing because he was handed the same 24 hours as everyone else and never given the manual. You were handed the same 24 hours. And somewhere in the back of your mind you already knew that the emails and the scrolling and the drift were costing you something. You felt it. That hollow feeling at the end of a busy day when you look back and realize you moved no closer to anything that actually matters to you. That feeling has a name now. The drift tax, the focus premium, the recovery debt, the 10-minute vault. The hours were never the problem, they were always equal. What you do with the first 10 minutes of your night and the first 90 minutes of your morning, that is where the gap between Ryan and Nadia actually lives. You have always had enough time, you just needed to stop letting it drift. Here is your challenge for this week. Tonight, do the 10-minute vault. All 5 steps. Clothes laid out. Bag packed. Phone out of the bedroom. One sentence on a piece of paper. Then tomorrow morning, protect those first 90 minutes. No email, no notifications. Just the one task you wrote down last night. Do it for 5 days, and then drop a comment below telling me what changed. Even one thing. I read every single comment on this channel and I respond to every one. If this video changed how you see your daily hours, subscribe right now. Because next week, we are talking about the $600 that quietly leaves your account every single month while you sleep, and the one account setup that stops it permanently. We will see you there.